Hello YouTube friends and family, welcome back to the channel. Stephen here. Today I'm going to try to attempt to answer the two questions that Mark Batson asked this week for Valentine's questions. Stay tuned. This past week for Valentine's Day, Mark posted up a video asking the community a question: what is our favorite model build of our own, and what would be our favorite model build of somebody else's? Well, I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, this is not a cop-out. I was racking my brain trying to answer these two questions, but I legitimately don't have one favorite of either for the question. So let me attempt to explain. I'm going to show you probably my top 5 of my own builds and give you a brief reason why they're all tied for first. And then I'm going to attempt to not butcher the second question. Let me get the camera turned around here. Okay, 1 of 5 tied for first place. In no particular order. This is the 1950 Ford F1 Revell pickup that I did as a buddy build with my dad a couple of years ago. And this is my favorite model. 1, because it was a buddy build with my dad. 2, I love the truck. I love the way it turned out. I don't think the camera's doing the blue justice. It's petty blue. It looks a little darker in the camera as I'm shooting this. It's a box stock, basically. I scratch built the exhaust using the kit exhaust, or modified the exhaust. I didn't scratch build it to fit up under there and to come out the way I wanted it to. Lowered the suspension. My dad printed up Mexican blanket to cover the seat. I used a stick pin for the gear shift. It was just a fun build. It went together very well, and it was time I got to spend with my dad. So let's move this one over out of the way. Second build, tied for first place, would be this Revell kit of Dale Earnhardt's 2001 Monte Carlo. This was the last car that Dale Earnhardt drove. We were big Earnhardt fans, among other drivers. This kit, as all the monogram NASCAR kits do, it went together really well. Didn't have any issues with it. It's tied for first for my favorite because I love the way the car looks and the sentimental value of it being one of our favorite drivers. Next one that's tied for first place was my most recent finish. I just finished this one a few weeks ago. This was the Revell 1957 Chevy Black Widow kit with aftermarket decals. I bought it at mikesdecals.com. I've never really been real big on the Tri-Fi Chevys, but I really enjoyed building this kit. I like the way it turned out. I like the way it looks. It looks just like the car as far as what I've seen in pictures and internet searches. I think it came out really well. So it makes the list. This is tied for my first place of my favorite build. It is I think it was an Aoshima, however how you want to say it. R34 GTR. I like the way it came out. I love the look of this car. To me, this is a perfect color. Great stance. I like the wheels. It looks like a billion other ones on Facebook forums and YouTube and everything, but I like it. The only thing that I did to it that was not box stock is I used a window screen in the grill areas, and I got it a little crooked, but it was my first time doing it. And the fifth model of mine that's tied for first place was also a Fat Fenders Fins and Chrome entry for the first year. This Revell 41 Willys Stone Woods and Cook, the black car. I just love the way this one turned out. It was a really fun build, and I'm very glad that I have a few more of these Revell 41 Willys in my stash. I really enjoyed this one. So this is my favorite build of mine that I have built. These 5 right here tied for first place. And I'm going to go ahead and give an honorable mention to these 2. I'm going to show pictures here. The 49 Merc kit that you've seen quite a bit of recently because I've been talking about it, because it is the model that got me back into building in the 00s. And this 68 Roadrunner 383 car that I built with as a combination of the old AMT 68 Roadrunner kit and the then brand new released 68 Charger kit. I really like this one pretty good. Had a lot of firsts in it for me. Okay, question number 2, the hard one. Mark, this is not a cop-out. I could not narrow it down to one favorite build of somebody else's that I have seen on YouTube, on the forums, on Facebook. So let me say this. There are bukus of amazing builders out there, great people in this community that build amazing models. Each one of you has one of my favorite builds. I'm going to give a few examples, but take this as a compliment to the community as a whole, each one of you. Start off with Mark, since this was your question. 2 of your favorite builds of mine would have been 2 of your USAC builds, the 1940 Ford panel and the BG taco truck that you just built for this USAC group build. I love both of those. They're both amazing models, and you gotta love the taco truck and the surprise for BG. That had to be awesome. Since we mentioned BG, yours was a USAC build as well. One of your models that is one of my favorites of yours would have been the 1944 that you built during the inaugural first year of the USAC build. My dad, for example, he doesn't have a YouTube channel. I think he's fairly active on Facebook. Some of his models are some of my favorite models. He buys the same kit that every one of us buys, and I'm looking at how do I lower it, how do I make it look fast, what wheels would look best on it. He sees a completely different kit. He envisions a completely different type of build, and some of these kits he takes and he'll weather them, or he'll make a hot rod out of them. He'll replicate an old TV truck, and I'm all of those right there just with a 50 Ford. But some of these things, man, if we had finished our USAC builds this year, which neither one of us did, this is the direction he was going. I'll put a picture up here. Marcelo over at Mars Garage, I love your patina trucks. They look awesome. Mike over at Scale Speed Shop, man, he makes some of the best looking, meanest street machines and drag cars and these cool old hot rods. Seamus over at Semi BMW, I think I'm pronouncing that right. The way you add lights and details to these models amazes me. Rob over at Time Machine Scale Models, man, he makes some of the coolest old customs and hot rods. I'm really digging this Cadillac that he's building right now. It's probably going to be my favorite. Sean over at the Scale Model Car Guy channel, man, some of these rally cars he puts out and these resin parts that he makes, and he makes these cars, and they just blow my mind. They're awesome. They're my favorite. Adam over at Sodak Model Cars does amazing paint work and puts out some of my favorite paint jobs. If you guys remember Dr. Cranky, he put out some of the most fantabulous patina hot rods and customs. I mean, I could literally go on and on and on for hours. You guys know, you see these models that everybody's posting up, they're amazing. So I'm not going to pigeonhole it down into one, because That's my cop-out. And I was racking my brain. I actually lost sleep trying to decide which one of those would have been my favorite. So I want to give credit to each and every one of you because you guys all put out some awesome models. Every channel that I watch, you guys are amazing. You all put out my favorite models. I mean, you really do. That's not a cop-out. That's the honest truth. So that's all I've got for this video. I want to wish everybody a great week and a great weekend when it gets here. And I'd like to take a moment to thank Mark for asking this amazingly difficult to answer questions. And I want to thank you guys, everybody who subscribes, likes, shares, comments. You guys are the very best part of YouTube. So I'm just about finished up with my hashtag Mustang 60 group build. I may have one more short midweek update for it before I have the final on it. And in the next week or two, I'm going to have a small stash add. So I hope everybody has a great week and a great weekend when it gets here next weekend. See you in the next video.
I love the show.